welcome back. It's a little bit more than 4, actually it's 4:30 p.m. Let's continue reading the Wikipedia. I have to read about Oregon and Crater Lake National Park. So I got some hot foods and a shower and a shaving. And I did try my steam engine yesterday. But this video is not about that. But it's only 4:30. So let's read one and use some of the power on the camcorder. Of course, it takes 24 hours to charging. Could read the Crater Lake. Could read this one after this. Yes, I need to look my cell phone and I need 1 minute. I need a minute to do my ready in my bed. And I already made a lot of videos today.
Graphics card. Graphics card Sapphire Radeon HD 5570 video card.jpg. Sapphire Radeon HD 5570, a PCI Express video card with VGA, HDMI and DVI ports and a small cooling fan connects to motherboard via one of PCI Express. PCI. AGP. More. Display via one of DisplayPort. HDMI. DVI. VGA. USB-C. More. An image of an AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT graphics card. AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT graphics card, also called a video card, display card graphics adapter, VGA card /VGA, video adapter, display adapter, or colloquially GPU, is a computer expansion card that generates a feed of graphics output to a display device such as a monitor. Graphics cards are sometimes called discrete or dedicated graphics cards to emphasize their distinction to integrated graphics processor on the motherboard or the CPU. A graphics processing unit, GPU, that performs the necessary computations is the main component in a graphics card, but the acronym GPU is sometimes also used to refer to the graphics card as a whole. Most graphics cards are not limited to simple display output. The graphics processing unit can be used for additional processing which reduces the load from the central processing unit. 1. Additionally, computing platforms such as OpenCL and CUDA allow using graphics cards for general-purpose computing. Applications of general-purpose computing on graphics cards include AI training, cryptocurrency mining, and molecular simulation. 2, 3, 4. Usually, a graphics card comes in the form of a printed circuit board, expansion board, which are to be inserted into an expansion slot. 5. Others may have dedicated enclosures, and they are connected to the computer via a docking station or ASIBLE. These are known as external GPUs, EGPUs. Graphics cards are often preferred over integrated graphics for increased performance. History. Graphics cards historically supported different computer display standards as they evolved. For the IBM PC compatibles, common early standards were MDA, CGA, Hercules, EGA and VGA. In the late 1980s, the like of Radius produced graphics cards for the Apple Macintosh II with discrete 2D quick draw capabilities. 6. 3DFX Interactive was one of the first companies to develop a consumer-facing GPU with 3D acceleration, with the Voodoo series, and the first to develop a graphical chipset dedicated to 3D but without 2D support, which therefore required the presence of a 2D card to work. NVIDIA Riva 128 was one of the first consumer-facing GPU integrated 3D processing unit and 2D processing unit on a chip. Nowadays, the majority of modern graphics cards are built with either AMD-sourced or NVIDIA-sourced graphics chips. 7. Most graphics cards offer various functions such as 3D rendering, 2D graphics, MPEG-2/MPEG-4 decoding, TV output, and the ability to connect multiple monitors, multi-monitor. Graphics cards also have sound card capabilities to output sound along with video output for connected TVs or monitors with integrated speakers. Within the industry, graphics cards are sometimes called graphics add-in boards, abbreviated as AIBs. 7. With the word graphics usually omitted. Discrete vs integrated graphics. Classical desktop computer architecture with a distinct graphics card over PCI Express. Typical bandwidths for given memory technologies, missing RF memory latency. Zero copy between GPU and CPU is not possible, since both have their distinct physical memories. Data must be copied from one to the other to be shared. Integrated graphics with partitioned main memory, a part of the system memory is allocated to the GPU exclusively. Zero copy is not possible. Data has to be copied over the system memory bus, from one partition to the other. As an alternative to the use of a graphics card, video hardware can be integrated into the motherboard, CPU, or a system-on-chip as integrated graphics. Motherboard-based implementations are sometimes called onboard video. Some motherboards support using both integrated graphics and the graphics card simultaneously to feed separate displays. The main advantages of integrated graphics are a low cost, compactness, simplicity, and low energy consumption. Integrated graphics often has less performance than a graphics card because the graphics processing unit inside integrated graphics needs to share system resources with the CPU. On the other hand, a graphics card has a separate random access memory, RAM, cooling system, and dedicated power regulators. A graphics card can offload work and reduce memory bus contention from the CPU and system RAM. Therefore, the overall performance for a computer could improve in addition to increased performance in graphics processing. Such improvements to performance can be seen in video gaming, 3D animation, and video editing. Both AMD and Intel have introduced CPUs and motherboard chipsets which support the integration of a GPU into the same die as the CPU. AMD advertises CPUs with integrated graphics under the trademark Accelerated Processing Unit, APU, while Intel brands similar technology under Intel Graphics Technology. 8. Power demand. As the processing power of graphics cards increased, so did the demand for electrical power. Current high-performance graphics cards tend to consume large amounts of power. For example, Thermal Design Power, TDP, for the GeForce Titan RTX is 280 watts. 9. When tested with video games, the GeForce RTX 2080 Founders Edition averaged 300 watts of power consumption. 10. While CPU and power supply manufacturers have recently aimed toward higher efficiency, power demands of graphics cards continued to rise, with the largest power. Integrated graphics with unified main memory, to be found AMD Kavri or PlayStation 4, HSA. Consumption of any individual part in a computer. 11. 12. Alt-half power supplies have also increased their power output. The bottleneck occurs in the PCI Express connection, which is limited to supplying 75 watts. 13. Modern graphics cards with a power consumption of over 75 watts usually include a combination of 6-pin, 75W, or 8-pin, 150W, sockets that connect directly to the power supply. Providing adequate cooling becomes a challenge in such computers. Computers with multiple graphics cards may require power supplies over 750 watts. Heat extraction becomes a major design consideration for computers with 2 or more high-end graphics cards. As of the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 30 series, Ampere architecture, a custom flashed RTX 3090 named Hall of Fame has been recorded to reach a peak power draw as high as 630 watts. A standard RTX 3090 can peak at up to 450 watts. The RTX 3080 can reach up to 350 watts, while a 3070 can reach a similar, if not slightly lower peak power draw. Ampere cards are the first cards to feature a pass-through cooler design to dissipate as much heat as possible, especially with large power consumptions. Size. Graphics cards for desktop computers have different size profiles, which allows graphics cards to be added to smaller-sized computers. Some graphics cards are not of the usual size, and are named as low-profile. 14, 15. Graphics card profiles are based on height only, with low-profile cards taking up less than the height of a PCIe slot. Some can be as low as half height. Length and thickness can vary greatly, with high-end cards usually occupying 2 or 3 expansion slots, and with modern high-end graphics cards such as the RTX 4090 exceeding 300mm in length. 16. A lower profile card is preferred when trying to fit multiple cards or if graphics cards run into clearance issues with other motherboard components like the DIMM or PCIe slots. This can be fixed with a larger computer case such as mid-tower or full tower. Full towers are usually able to fit larger motherboards in sizes like ATX and micro ATX. Multicard scaling. Some graphics cards can be linked together to allow scaling graphics processing across multiple cards. This is done using either the PCIe bus on the motherboard or, more commonly, a data bridge. Usually, the cards must be of the same model to be linked, and most low-end cards are not able to be linked in this way. 17. AMD and NVIDIA both have proprietary scaling methods, Crossfire E for AMD, and SLI, since the Turing generation, superseded by NVLink, for NVIDIA. Cards from different chipset manufacturers or architectures cannot be used together for multi-card scaling. If graphics cards have different sizes of memory, the lowest value will be used, with the higher values disregarded. Currently, scaling on consumer-grade cards can be done using up to 4 cards. 18, 19, 20. The use of 4 cards requires a large motherboard with a proper configuration. NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 590 graphics card can be configured in a 4-card configuration. 21. As stated above, users will want to stick to cards with the same performance as for optimal use. Motherboards including Asus Maximus 3 Extreme and Gigabyte GAX58 Extreme are certified to work with this configuration. 22. A large power supply is necessary to run the cards in SLI or Crossfire E. Power demands must be known before a proper supply is installed. For the 4-card configuration, a 1000 plus watt supply is needed. 22. With any relatively powerful graphics card, thermal management cannot be ignored. Graphics cards require well-vented chassis and good thermal solutions. Air or water cooling are usually required, though low-end GPUs can use passive cooling. Larger configurations as water solutions or immersion cooling to achieve proper performance without thermal throttling. 23. SLI and Crossfire have become increasingly uncommon as most games do not fully utilize multiple GPUs due to the fact that most users cannot afford them. 24, 25, 26. Multiple GPUs are still used on supercomputers, like in Summit, on workstations to accelerate video. 27, 28, 29, and 3D rendering. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, visual effects. 35, 36, for simulations. 37, and in training. Artificial Intelligence. 3D graphics APIs. A graphics driver usually supports one or multiple cards by the same vendor and has to be written for a specific operating system. Additionally, the operating system or an extra software package may provide certain programming APIs for applications to perform 3D rendering. 3D rendering API availability across operating systems os Vulkan DirectX Metal Penglo Penglisa Pentel Windows Yes Microsoft Nanois Uses Macos Molten No Pli Play No Pli Linux Win Nanois Uses Android Yes Nonanom Vidi Ises and Departers Molten No Play No Pli Pleaters in development Non-Nanois Sailfish OS in development Non-Nanois Xbox No Yes No Orbis OS PlayStation No Yes No Wii U Yes Nonanois uses specific usage. Some GPUs are designed with specific usage in mind. Gaming GeForce GTX, GeForce RTX, NVIDIA Titan, Radeon HD, Radeon RX, Cloud Gaming NVIDIA Grid, Radeon Sky, Workstation NVIDIA Quadro, AMD Fire Pro, Radeon Pro, Cloud Workstation NVIDIA Tesla, AMD Firestream, Artificial Intelligence Cloud NVIDIA Tesla, Radeon Instinct, Automated /driverless car NVIDIA Drive PX. Industry. As of 2016, the primary suppliers of the GPUs, graphics chips or chipsets, used in graphics cards are AMD and NVIDIA. In the third quarter of 2013, AMD had a 35.5% market share while NVIDIA had 64.5%, 38, according to John Peddy Research. In economics, this industry structure is termed a duopoly. AMD and NVIDIA also build and sell graphics cards, which are termed graphics add-in boards, AIBs, in the industry. See comparison of NVIDIA graphics processing units and comparison of AMD graphics processing units. In addition to marketing their own graphics cards, AMD and NVIDIA sell their GPUs to authorized AIB suppliers, which AMD and NVIDIA refer to as partners. 7. The fact that NVIDIA and AMD compete directly with their customer /partners complicates relationships in the industry. AMD and Intel being direct competitors in the CPU industry is also noteworthy, since AMD-based graphics cards may be used in computers with Intel CPUs. Intel's integrated graphics may weaken AMD, in which the latter derives a significant portion of its revenue from its APUs. As of the second quarter of 2013, there were 52 AIB suppliers. 7. These AIB suppliers may market graphics cards under their own brands, produce graphics cards for private label brands, or produce graphics cards for computer manufacturers. Significant portion of its revenue from its
Yes, did click by mistake because I'm sleepy. We're going to read from the top again.
AMD Fire Pro, Radeon Pro, Cloud Workstation NVIDIA Tesla, AMD Firestream, Artificial Intelligence Cloud NVIDIA Tesla, Radeon Instinct, Automated /driverless car NVIDIA Drive PX. Industry. As of 2016, the primary suppliers of the GPUs, graphics chips or chipsets, used in graphics cards are AMD and NVIDIA. In the third quarter of 2000